Little extracurricular pushing and shoving as neither team keeping too much under wraps in the first half. 8 NDSU penalties, 6 for UNC. So we've kind of seen a little bit of the tempers flaring and some indiscipline, but mostly a clean, hard-hitting game so far today.
And the opening series can be so important on both sides of the football.
And it's UNC to open up from the 32-yard line. And it's Daniels on the handoff. And again, a good hole up the middle for West. And he's to the outside across the 40 and brought down near the 35-yard line. First play of the half begins a lot like UNC's first rushing play in the game. Daniels up the middle and a bunch of room for the junior.
Yeah, it looks like the start of the game here. A nice hole opened up by the offensive lineman. And here comes Luke Schaefer right there. Poor angle of pursuit by the free safety. He's the guy who's kind of got to play it from the inside out and make sure that guy doesn't get around him and give a poor angle of pursuit. Court Samuel tracks him down, knocks him out of bounds. But what a way to start the second half for Northern Colorado. Get into Bison territory immediately.
33 yards for Daniels. He'll go out. Kevin Prosser is in the game. And Prosser gets the handoff, and he surges forward to the 31. So 4 on first down. And the Bears, just like that, on 2 runs, not their forte, move it from their own 32 down to the North Dakota State 31.
And the first thing you notice is this UNC offensive line doing a good job at getting the push, the initial push, against the North Dakota State defense. And I'm sure the offensive line got a talking to at halftime to make sure that they come out heads up.
Well, the momentum was clearly with UNC when the Bears led it 28-3. 2 straight scores by NDSU put momentum on the Bison side, and now the Bears threatening to recapture it, but a little confusion as Court McGuffey calls for a timeout. 13:59, third quarter. Bears on top 28-13, so the Bears take one pretty early in this one, but again, I think timeouts like this are traditionally well thought out as they don't want to make any mistakes. 28-13 is our score in the third
I'm Wes
quarter.
Tabor. It's that time of year again. You can buy the best overall vehicle at 99 closeout prices. And you can score a touchdown at Honda of Greeley. Honda of Greeley has the biggest selection of anybody in Colorado. And this means you can save literally thousands of dollars. Choose from the sporty Accords, the racy Civics, the rugged Passports, and the ever-versatile CR-V Sport Utilities. Right now, as always, you can get the service you expect from Northern Colorado's only Image Design Honda dealer. Think resale value, think Honda of Greeley.
Ciccarelli in motion now along the right side. McGuffey to pass again. He's got Omar Zuniga over the middle, and he's in the end zone for a 23-yard touchdown.
Nothing beats watching the exciting UNC Bears in person. But before and after the game, the most avid fan reads all about their favorite team in the pages of the Greeley Tribune. The Greeley Tribune, voted America's best community newspaper.
Where heroes hide.
Hi, I'm Bobby Warner. I believe in helping kids. Through my years working with partners and Windsor Recreation, I've witnessed the importance of the quality youth programs United Way of Weld County helps to fund. Join me in making a difference in a young person's life by supporting United Way of Weld County. Please give as generously as you can.
Bears are ready after the timeout, facing a 2nd down and 6. Prosser remains in the game. Ciccarelli in motion. And a play fake. McGuffey now being flushed out. Stephan on the chase, gets an ankle on him, and it makes McGuffey stumble, and he's finally brought down for the sack.
I think they'll officially give the sack to probably Clint Jelstead, but Ronnie Stephan really should get about half credit for it because he was the one who slowed him down and made him stumble.
Stephan coming in with 1 sack on the year, has 1.5 if you count that one today.
Now you see how important it is to get pressure on Court McGuffey. You let him sit back there, he'll pick you to death like he did at the end of the first half. But get him on the run. He's still a good quarterback, but he's not the great quarterback when he sits back there and has time.
So a loss of 6 on the play. This is 3rd and 12 now from the 37 and probably outside Mike Schauer field goal range. McGuffey gonna throw, has his man. That's Zuniga, who catches it in traffic and has the first down inside the 25-yard line. And one of the NDSU players looks like he is shaken up on that play.
And something that the UNC wide receivers do such a good job at is when they're 3rd and long, 4th and long, and they're passing and they know they need the first down, they get to the first down, they get beyond the first down, and then when the ball gets to them, they don't have to do anything but fall down and know they got it.
Courtney Samuel is the man who leveled the blow, and I believe it was Jared Maher, inside linebacker from Bismarck St. Mary's, and he has not moved since he was decked by Samuel. Even Coach Babbage is coming out to take a look, and normally a head coach does not go on the football field unless it's a serious injury.
Well, of course, we don't want to speculate on anything. We have no way of knowing what the situation is, but that was a nasty-looking blow between Samuel and the player who we do think is Jared Maher. Officials are going to take a timeout, and we'll take one as well. Third quarter just underway. Bears up by 15 over NDSU.
Since 1922, Garnsey & Wheeler Ford has been serving the transportation needs of northern Colorado. See, look, focus. Check out the new Ford Focus at Garnsey & Wheeler Ford. Whether it's a night on the town with friends or a weekend getaway to the mountains, the Ford Focus will make you fall in love all over. With unique features like controlled blade suspension and tilt-telescopic steering, the Ford Focus will keep you happy for years to come. Get into Focus at Garnsey & Wheeler Ford today. The new Garnsey & Wheeler Ford on the Highway 34 bypass.
Who's gonna be there for you? Who's gonna help you find it? Who's gonna be the one you turn to when you're in doubt? It's to you I turn to when I need to learn to where to go in my hometown. Where to go in my home. I turn to you. U.S. West Decks.
Create the perfect room with furnishings from Oak Specialist, Northern Colorado's largest oak specialty store. And we also offer furniture for every room in the house, from the bedroom to the living room, from the dining room to the rec room. Let the professionals at Oak Specialist help you find what you're looking for. Choose from top quality brand names, all at affordable prices. For home or office, it's Oak Specialist.
Solid oak, solid American, solid deals, Oak Specialist.
6 blocks west of Super Kmart Greeley.
Very serious scene here at Nottingham Field as the North Dakota State player who we believe is Jared Maher is still down and being tended to. Both sets of teams have been called off the field and onto the sidelines. We're going to try to pick up who was involved in that collision with Courtney Samuel on that last play.
McGuffey, the Bison had him in the kind of situation they want to, 3rd and long. Good protection, steps up, delivers the ball, and Courtney Samuel right there delivers a blow to, that is Jared Maher. And, Maher is expecting to hit a guy in blue, and all of a sudden out of the blue, here comes Courtney Samuel. But Maher is now sitting up, which is a good sign. He was moving his arms, hands, and legs. The great thing about athletic training, it's come so far that they really err on the side of caution. They don't move a guy, they talk to him. It's almost like a 15-minute interview to find out what the problem is. And they can save a lot of damage, a lot of injuries just by being very careful with a downed player on a field.
They don't rub dirt on it anymore and tell you to get up off the field.
No.
Well, that's a good shot of Jared Maher right there, and even though he's still taking his time and sitting down on the field, you can see that he's sitting up, looks like he's talking a little bit, and that in itself is a very positive sign.
And, it's not just one team's training staff that gets involved anymore. You have both training staffs helping injured players. You see both Northern Colorado and NDSU officials on the field.
Update a couple of scores from the NCC. Here's the surprise of the day. In Sioux Falls, Augustana beating Nebraska-Omaha today, 31-24. That, I would think, effectively eliminates the Mavericks from any playoff possibility.
Got to be out of. They've lost 3 times now. Lost here to Northern Colorado. They lost in Fargo to NDSU, and then losing to Augustana. They're done.
Another final, Minnesota State beating Morningside 24-13. Late in the third, North Dakota 31-0 over St. Cloud. That one's up in Grand Forks. And then late, or early in the fourth rather, South Dakota in Vermillion is leading over South Dakota State by a score of 30-28. And there's a look at a pretty big crowd of NDSU supporters who have come here. They're sitting on the far side of Nottingham Field on the east side. And Jared Maher is still woozy, to say the least, but it looks like he is going to be okay. Although the precautions are being taken to take him off the field. As you can tell, he's on the vehicle that's made its way on the field, and he'll be driven off.
But this is as healthy as North Dakota State has been this late in the year for many years. For a while there was the jinx of the Fargo Dome. I mean, they opened the Fargo Dome, and their starting quarterback, Arden Beachy blew out a knee in the first quarter and a half. They lost another quarterback 2 years later. They lost another quarterback 2 years after that. And they've just had a rash of injuries, and terrible injuries, too. But this year, and they credit John Grogan and the training and nutrition staff at North Dakota State to really getting their players healthy and wise about how to take care of your body. And unfortunately, Maher goes down with an injury, but really they're so healthy, so fortunate to be this healthy late in the year.
That's a big part of maintaining a good run like NDSU has had. Well, the play was a big pickup by Omar Zuniga and a first down. So after that lengthy delay, the Bears do take over. 1st and 10 from the 22. McGuffey back to the air, swings it out to his man, Wes Daniels, who was wide open waiting for it on about the 16, but couldn't hang on to it. Pass came in a little bit low, but Wes had his hands on it.
It's one of those hard one to one of those hard catches. Again, you're wide open. It's pretty much right to you, and you probably hear some of the footsteps coming up behind you as well.
Maybe those Bear receivers are spoiled. Court McGuffey normally puts it right between the numbers. That time it was a little low.
So McGuffey has had a couple of drop balls today, in addition to delivering 3 touchdowns. 2nd and 10. And this time it's a handoff, and it's Daniels who gets a lead block, but then trips over Ciccarelli. Nice play by Ehrenberg to kind of take on Ciccarelli and kind of foul that play up a little bit. In on the tackle, Chad Simmers, the freshman out of Fargo.
The Bears just trying to stretch things out as they give the ball to Daniels and let him follow his blockers, and Ciccarelli taking on a couple guys again. And these fullbacks for UNC so important as they lead their way through.
Well, it was Clay Brose and Luke Schaefer in there, not Ehrenberg, as Simmers finished him off. That was a gain of 6, though. 3rd down and 4. 12 minutes to go in a third quarter that's had a fitful start. A timeout and then a long delay because of an injury. McGuffey back to pass. Got some time, zips it up to the tight end, Brian Lonergan, who made the catch looking back into the sunshine, and it's a 1st and goal for Northern Colorado. Schaefer on the stop, but not until Lonergan gets the first.
3rd down conversion, so important. Look, McGuffey, just step up into the pocket, find his man, put it on the money, and it's enough for the first down. Schaefer over the top kind of came in with the tomahawk, tried to strip the ball out, but Lonergan was able to tuck that ball away like a good receiver should do.
Brian Lonergan from Texas, Dallas, in fact. His nickname is Tex, a guy who started the season 3rd on the depth chart. 1st and goal in UNC from the 7. It's Daniels on the draw. Touchdown, UNC! And for Wes Daniels, that is his 6th rushing touchdown of the year. And the Bears get on top 34-13.
Credit Daniels for a great run, but credit this offensive line for a nice hole. A good seam, Ciccarelli and Burkholder there, creating the hole initially for Daniels.
And look at those linemen pick up a linebacker and free safety Luke Schaefer. They just picked up everybody and had every assignment taken care of.
Ryan Burkholder, the left tackle, had a good block on that play, and the Bears answer back here in the second half, rather. Showers point after, up and good. 11:25 left to go, third quarter. UNC now on top by a score of 35-13.
No, wait. Couldn't we, don't we, let's, wait, could we,
Stop by Weld County Garage's Program Car Blowout. Choose from this 99 Buick Regal LS for only $18,660 or this 99 Nissan Maxima for only $16,990 at the Program Car Blowout, where the only thing lower than the price is the pressure.
I believe in Weld County Garage.
Hey, that was D decent.
Come see Quality Auto Sound in Greeley and Fort Collins. Car audio and lots more. Vehicle security systems from Viper, #1 in America. Top brand names like JVC, Kenwood Exelon, Eclipse, Pioneer, Rockford Fosgate, MTX, and Kicker. Installation and repair service. Our showrooms are open every day. The best way to go since 1966 for car audio, security, and remote start systems, pagers, and cell phones too. Quality Auto Sound.
You never heard it so good.
Recently, we at the Colorado Lottery returned our $1 billionth to the state of Colorado. Those proceeds have been used to build thousands of state and local parks, recreation, wildlife, and public building projects, as well as helping to preserve what makes this state special: open space. From the Colorado Lottery to the people of Colorado, thanks a billion.
Wes Daniels' second touchdown run of the day. That's 7 on the year for the junior. And he's reliving it with Court McGuffey. And that's a big, big score opening up the second half. Bears now 35-13 on top, and that really helps stave off some of that NDSU momentum.
Yeah, if there was any momentum gained by North Dakota State at the end of the first half, Northern Colorado kind of took it right back to start the second half. Now, 35 points, I mean, how impressive is that? That the Bison came in here with the #1 ranked defense and had not given up more than 2 touchdowns in any conference game this year.
Bears have done a good job keeping it away from Tim Strelo. Shower boots it deep, and it's Nelson who bobbles it inside his own end zone, and he'll just take the knee, and North Dakota State will take over at its own 20-yard line. Bears' big scoring drive right there, Jim.
Yeah, 8 plays, and they took a little bit more time off the clock this time, and I really think the injury kind of put NDSU's defense kind of on their heels, took a little air out of their shoot, and let the Bears kind of take advantage of that.
Well, you really kind of have to find a mirror on the sidelines, look in it, and see what you're made of if you're a Bison offensive player here and defensive player. You got to make things happen here in the second half, or you're playing for pride at Morningside more than likely and home for the holidays.
3 receivers, Gordon the lone setback. Handoff, and Gordon is swarmed under. Pallone, Heiner, along with Jeff Miller, and that's a loss of a couple on the play.
You know, Pallone's not the biggest nose guard in the league. He's, what, 275, 6'2"? But the guy, he must just play on so much heart.
Both those tackles up there, Pallone and Markley, not very big guys, but as you said, Dana, a lot of heart up there and a lot of get after it.
Officially a loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Now fullback is in, the tight end is out of the game. And Johnson running option, pitches to Gordon, and Lamar's got a lane down the right side, and Morlock saves a touchdown by knocking Gordon out at about the 47-yard line. But a pickup of 28 on the play and a first down, and there you see some of that breakaway potential for Lamar Gordon.
You see why here. Some nice blocking downfield by North Dakota State. Jeremy Lure, the fullback, kicks one guy outside, and he gets a piece of linebacker right there and allows Gordon to go farther downfield. And Gordon had Morlock to beat, and that was it.
Well, it's got to be kind of nice to be NDSU if you're in a situation like this, because you at least know you have the tools and the guns to get back into a game.
But so far, knowing it and doing it has been a different story here in Greeley.
47 is the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10. Johnson going to throw. Tony Dunn on the rush. This one floats up there, deflected by Easton, picked off by Morlock. And he's down the right sideline and is tackled by the fullback Lure, but another interception for Ryan Johnson, and UNC is set up inside the 35-yard line.
Well, and it's UNC that takes the advice by coming up with a big play.
And I think you can say it's Ryan Johnson's second poorly thrown ball. You throw that long down and out here, you've got to throw that one to the outside of the football field. Here he throws it to the inside. Nelson has to come back a little bit, and Easton right there to make the play, and heads up. This is why they do the tip drill in practice. Morlock is there, Johnny on the spot, and really has the Bears smiling here in the third quarter.
Chad Morlock's 3rd pick on the season. He has had a heck of a game today. Has gotten pressure, significant pressure, a couple of times on Johnson. You think a touchdown here might salt the game away, although it's still early. Floated out, and this one's picked off. What a play by the linebacker. That's Evenson on the interception, and McGuffey gets picked, and the Bison come right back. Ryan Everson's second pick on the season, the junior out of Climax, Minnesota. That is a heck of an athletic play.
He is an athlete. He's made some big plays, leading the Bison in sacks, and he really has not started. He plays in situational things, but when he's in there, he makes plays. This time, McGuffey tries to drop it over Evenson, and Evenson kind of one-hands this one, doesn't he? Chips it to himself and comes back. He saved a touchdown down at South Dakota State for his other interception. The Jackrabbits were driving late in the game, and he picked it off in the end zone and returned it about 20 yards.
Bada bing, bada boom.
If NDSU comes back in this one, you will point to that play as maybe the tide turner. Although the Bison still have a lot of work to do, trailing by 22. Gordon on the counter, being chased from behind. Zimmerman and Heiner are there. Zim had the ankles, and Jamie Heiner finished him off. A short gain for Gordon.
We talk about the workout programs of the NDSU defense. Well, Zimmerman and Heiner, instead of trying to get bigger this year, which they did last year and lost some speed, went to speed school, went to some speed camps, and tried to improve their lateral speed. And there you see it there as they run down Lamar Gordon from the backside.
And when you're a linebacker running down Lamar Gordon, you've got some giddy up and go.
Actually, a loss of 1 on that play, back to the 34, 2nd and 11. Lure, the fullback for Gordon. Bears showing blitz. Here they come. Quick out, zipped out to Detman. One man to beat. He cuts inside of Morlock and is near the first down. Detman with a good move inside after he caught it, gaining the extra yardage. That'll bring up a 3rd down and short if he doesn't quite have that first down.
This is a new little wrinkle that NDSU is showing this year. Offensive coordinator Mark Maurer picked it up from somebody's playbook, just kind of like a little swing pass to a wide receiver. Lines up in the slot, and his first steps are actually back. Sometimes it can be a lateral, sometimes it's a forward pass. I think it was almost a lateral this time. And it just allows a player to go one-on-one with a cornerback.
3rd and 1, Gordon breaks through a tackle. Look out here, Lamar Gordon in the open field, and he could go 20, 10, 5, touchdown, North Dakota State, 66 yards. And that's the big home run play that Joe Glenn said he wanted his team to avoid. The counter punch, NDSU picks off Court McGuffey and rambles into the end zone, and we've got a tight ball game once again.
That play first started, it certainly didn't look like this was going to be a home run play. Kind of bogged down here and just keeps his legs turning, finds some open field, and once he gets to the open field, there are very few people in this league that will be able to catch Lamar Gordon. I think he runs about
knees up high.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes that's a knock on him too. Around the goal line, he runs too high, and he's going to get hurt someday unless you lower those shoulder pads.
Peterson for the point after. Johnson the hold, and the kick is up and through with 9:19 left to go in the 3rd quarter. 35-20. What a momentum shift. Bears on top at one time, 35-13. Had just picked off Ryan Johnson. Were in very good field position. But then the big play made by Ryan Evenson intercepting McGuffey, and then just a couple of plays later, it's Lamar Gordon with that big 66-yard touchdown run.
It's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback, but you could go back and say, you know, maybe the Bears got a little greedy. Maybe they should have worked the clock and run the football, but instead they, well, how can you blame them? When you have Court McGuffey throwing the football, rarely does he throw an interception. He had all of 4 last year. He's had a few more this year. Was it 7, I do believe?
Right.
But
it was 7 coming into the game. That's 8 for him. There's a look at what Joe Glenn has done in his time at UNC and against North Dakota State. First win for UNC ever came in for UNC against NDSU came in 1991. That was at the old Jackson Field.
Well, you guys have moved up in the world a little bit as far as press facilities.
We could take you back for a tour after the game, Dana, if you'd like.
Still there? They didn't knock it down?
Got to remember where you come from.
And how good you got it.
Well, the Bears have led the entire way in this game, but NDSU not going away. Ron Scott catches the pooch kickoff and is being hassled there, and Courtney Samuel, or check it. It isn't Samuel, it is number 22, Mike Roan, a reserve cornerback who was in there on the stop for the Bison.
You see really see the effects of the wind. In the first half, UNC kicking about the same area, then Shower kicks one through the air into the end zone when he switches sides, and now the Bison can't get it past the 20-yard line.
Turnovers and being able to take advantage of them. That's what NDSU did the last time, scoring in less than a minute. Zuniga coming in motion. Handoff to Prosser, who's in the game. Tries to get outside, but Aaron Skyberg makes a big defensive play, shedding a blocker and then dropping Prosser after it looked like there would be a lot of room for Prosser to run. That's a big-time play by Skyberg.
Skyberg is playing with a torn ACL. He promised that he would come back for the Minnesota State Mankato game, and a lot of people questioned that because of the severity of the injury. But he was good on his word, and he has played his best football since coming back.
Aaron's got some fans here across the way. We saw it earlier in the telecast. We Heart Sky, it says, across the way. So number 8 is in their thoughts. That's where the NDSU fans are on the east side here at Nottingham Field. No gain on the play, 2nd down and 10. McGuffey may be calling an audible as he turns and looks at his running backs. Handoff to Prosser. Kevin tries to stutter step, but not a whole lot there as he gets bunched up. And it is Brose, the safety, who gets up off the bottom of the stack. It'll be 3rd down and long for UNC.
There's the We Love Sky, the Hitman sign.
NDSU fans always seem to turn up for this game, Dana.
They look forward to it. They fly out early. They play a round of golf at the Greeley Country Club on Friday. They take in the nightlife and come and enjoy normally a pretty good football game.
3rd and 7 now with 7:35 left to go, 3rd quarter. Big play here for the Bears. It'll be Lonergan dumped over the middle, and he may have picked up the 1st down on a great little sidestep, and they'll mark him out across the 35-yard line. If he got it, that is a big play by the senior.
And that's a great move by Lonergan. Everybody's going towards the left sideline, and Lonergan just stops, changes directions, and pops straight up the field. And if they do give it to him, it's a great move here. Just one step in, gets the linebacker going the other way. Lonergan.
He knows where he has to go. Look, he's reaching that ball forward. That's just a player making a play. Where he caught the ball, he was about 4 yards short of a 1st down, put a move on Wade Kittleson, and was able to pick up the 1st down.
And we'll have a measurement, but it looks like Lonergan's got the 1st down from here in the booth, and he does. That is a big, big play by Brian Lonergan, a guy who really hadn't been on anybody's radar until last year. He'd been in the program for a long time, had been kind of stuck in the tight end talent here. Andy Haase, a guy who played here, is now in the NFL, or has been in the NFL. And then after him, Ryan Richards, a good receiving tight end, but Lonergan emerged last year and has done a nice job for the Bears. 1st and 10 UNC, and a big 1st down pickup. UNC at the 35 now. Prosser still the setback in the game, tries to get to the outside again, shakes one man, cuts it back up the middle and out across the 40 to the 41. So 5 or 6 for Kevin Prosser when it looks like he should have been dropped. He eluded the tackle of Lake Murphy and picked up the extra yardage.
I was absolutely sure Prosser wasn't going anywhere. He almost stood up and stopped right here to let the tackler to him. Somehow gets around and scoots back up the field for a nice gain.
Bison defensive coaches are not going to like looking at the game film tomorrow because they are not wrapping up and tackling people the way they normally have this year.
Yeah, Dan, it always seems like games like this happen all at one time. You go through a whole season of textbook playing, and then here's a game where you can point out 5 or 6 or 7 examples of missed tackles or poor execution. On 2nd down, it's Prosser again, still on his feet, not much there. That time he couldn't get by the initial surge, and it was a swarming Bison defense. Krenz was in there on that stop, along with a couple of others of his comrades. Kittleson also in there on the stop.
Now it appears that the Bears are going to play it a little more close to the vest, and if they're going to pass, it's going to be a short-range pass across the middle to a tight end or an out to a wide receiver, and really work the Bison defensive linemen. Let your offensive linemen pound on them for a while and really wear them out. Plus, you eat time off the clock, too, and the Bison still down 15 points here to Greeley.
3rd down and a couple. Scott, the fullback, and some movement, and a flag goes down. McGuffey kept it on the quarterback keeper, but we're not going to have a play here. Looked like an NDSU lineman jumped, but then a Bears lineman may have reacted to that.
But you can't entice an offensive lineman to come off sides either, or move.
Procedure against UNC. So instead of 3rd and 2, it'll become 3rd down and 7. Joe Glenn on the bottom right of your screen, unhappy with that call.
I think it was Steve Knorr who jumped but was able to get back. But after he jumped, one of the Colorado linemen flinched a bit. But here in the second half, 3rd down has been nothing but a piece of cake for Court McGuffey. So a huge play for the Bison defense here. If they can stop them and make them kick and get the ball back.
Daniels alone setback. It's McGuffey in the gun. 4 receivers into the game for the Bears. Here comes the blitz. Flag is down. McGuffey sidesteps it, and it's incomplete. Intended for Zuniga. The flag lands in the UNC offensive backfield, and that's usually holding. And it is. That's the call against the Bears.
Bison have already indicated they will decline it. They want the football back. Skyberg here in a safety blitz was able to get to McGuffey a little bit. Didn't actually touch him, but was able to force him to change his throwing motion. He wasn't able to find his receiver.
And it's Jeff Weber back into the game to punt.
Jeff Weber back to do the punting for the Bears.
Weber's a freshman out of Greeley Central, and this is only his 3rd punt on the season. He punted once in this game earlier.
24-yard line.
No rush. Weber gets it high, and it's Strelo calling for a fair catch back at his 21-yard line. That's where NDSU will take over with 5:03 left to go, 3rd quarter. Bears on top 35-20. Looked like UNC was going to blow this thing open earlier in this half, leading 35-13, and the ball inside Bison territory. But then a big interception by Evenson for North Dakota State, and a 66-yard run by Lamar Gordon has made this a 15-point game.
Get the feeling you got to close the gap as the 4th quarter nears. Yeah, the Bison in 97 scored 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter to beat the Bears, 2 80-yard drives. They got to be thinking the same thing now.
NDSU looking into the sun. Handoff goes to Gordon, and he's got room up the middle, and a saving tackle made by Martin Jones at the 38-yard line. Or check it, that's Deshaun Perkins into the game, not Lamar Gordon. Perkins out of Hinckley High School in Aurora.
Every once in a while they throw this change of pace, probably because Lamar Gordon had the long touchdown run on the previous possession. Rest him a little bit. Make sure your horses are ready to go for the 4th quarter. And Deshaun Perkins has struggled a little bit, fractured his ankle in an off-season automobile accident, and has gradually been able to get better and better and better as the season has moved on.
Perkins averaging only 3.5 a carry, but that time 17 for the sophomore from Hinckley High School. It's the fake to the fullback lure, and then the pitch, and that one's blown up. Jeff Miller, the junior linebacker out of Longmont, makes a big defensive stop and a big loss on the play.
Well, these linebackers are so key for UNC's defense, and as Babbage talked to his team, saying these are the best linebackers you'll meet all year long. They have great depth, great speed, great size, and Jeff Miller shows all of it right there.
Miller was able to sneak right inside of Trent Howman, offensive lineman for North Dakota State, and that rarely happens. Howman is just a blue-collar worker who rarely misses a practice, a game, or a blocking assignment.
And Anthony Dunn, the end, read the quarterback very well on that play and made him pitch it. 2nd and 16 after a loss of 6. Long count by Johnson, play fake. Pressure coming, but Johnson gets it off. It's Detman who's got it over Morlock, and it's another 1st down for the Bison. And Detman is psyched up as he gets up, pumping his fists. A big completion into UNC territory.
Twice in the 1st down, they tried to find those receivers between the corner and the safety, and they weren't able to find the receiver. But this time, Johnson was able to find Detman. Even though the ball was slightly underthrown, he came back, fought for the ball, and was able to pick up a critical 1st down for North Dakota State.
And Morlock on the coverage was turned around, and just a great route by Detman.
25 yards on the play. Detman, the leading receiver, with 27 coming into this game, and he's added a few more to that. Perkins, the lone setback, as Gordon still gets that breather. Johnson with a short drop. That one is deflected, and it goes incomplete. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10. I'm not sure who got the hand on it, Jim, but we've seen George Smith, rather, number 90, with a lot of deflections this season. I know he was in that mix. Jamie Heiner there too.
I think that one might even been Dominic Pallone.
A strong game for Dominic if that's the guy who got the deflection. Second down and 10, clock stopped with 3:21, third quarter, Bears leading it 35-20. And now all sorts of motion and flags come down everywhere.
And another conference for the officials to straighten it out. And Northern Colorado claps.
Procedure against the Bison. That'll be second down and 15. Ball moved back to the 49-yard line.
Again, 8 penalties for North Dakota State in the first half. One here to back them up 5 yards and make it second down and 15.
Lure ahead of Perkins. A couple of tight ends in the game for NDSU. Play fake for Johnson. He's being pressured. Zimmerman spins away from him. Now he finds the fullback Lure for a short gain out to the 44. 4 or 5 on the play, but that is a nice athletic play by Ryan Johnson to avoid the sack from Scott Zimmerman.
Zimmerman's mad. You don't get many clean shots at a quarterback. You got to wrap up and put him down, but Johnson was able to spin away and then rifle it to his fullback. When Zimmerman sees this on the film, he's really going to be torqued.
Boy, Johnson's strong.
Yeah. That's from running the option early in his career and taking a beating. You got to lift weights to survive as an option quarterback.
Well, the fans as loud as they've been all day on a third down and 11 here. We're nearing the 2-minute mark left in the third quarter. Morlock shows blitz. And now flags go down, and it looks like North Dakota State may have moved on the line of scrimmage. I saw Peck bobbing a little bit, along with 1 or 2 of the offensive linemen, and it is against NDSU.
Well, if it wasn't a penalty before, it was after Northern Colorado pointed to the lineman. He stood up. You can't do that.
Did you see that?
And the lineman is being pulled off the field. That's Josh Hobble. Little in-game discipline.
Third down and 16 now for midfield. Gordon is back into the game. Johnson's going to throw. He's in some trouble being flushed out of the pocket. And he cuts it upfield and struggles out across the 35-yard line. And it looks like he'll be awfully close, but maybe just a little bit short of the first down. But that's an impressive gain on a third down and 16. Ryan Johnson doing it with his legs.
And I don't think there's any question what North Dakota State will do on this fourth down and short. Howman able to push his man outside, and Johnson makes up his mind early here, which is sometimes so important. As a defensive back, you're between a rock and a hard place. You know, do I stay with my man? Is he going to throw it? Is he going to run? And Johnson may have had a pretty kind spot there because his knees went down, then he lunged forward. But he is short of the first down.
This is Ron Waterman, Greeley West wrestling coach for the best high school sports. Keep it right here on Channel 8.
With 1:19 to go in the third, 35-20 Bears on top. This game is nearing marathon proportions here. It started at noon Greeley time, and it's almost 3 o'clock, so.
And we're not to the fourth quarter yet.
Nope. But the fans have certainly gotten their money's worth in a very entertaining game. The game of the week, without a doubt, in Division II football. And really what's at stake is a playoff position versus the end of the season. Winner versus loser. Strelo, the lone receiver, split out wide left. Pitch to Gordon. Little bit of a hole, jumps, and it looks like he'll be very close. From the lean, you think that he's got it, although it wasn't a decisive lean by any stretch of the imagination. And we'll have another official's timeout and a measurement.
This will be very close again. They tried to make up for the bad spot last time and made it spotted this one maybe back a little bit.
Well, needless to say, a lot hinges on this measurement.
Come on, ref, move a little bit.
Just
First
barely.
down.
Almost had to get out the credit card trick
Exactly.
and wipe it down the pole.
That is as close a conversion as you could get. On a 4th down.
Bison coaches up here in the booth can breathe again, all holding their breath, waiting for the measurement. An impressive drive in the fact that the Bison have overcome 2 third down and 16s.
And now movement again as Hobble got up out of his stance. A couple of Bears shot across the line.
Prior to the snap.
And it's procedure again against North Dakota State. How do you figure that? Nothing like that in the first half. There were a lot of penalties, but nothing like that. And then that's 3 times here in this half, in this quarter.
You see Coach Babbage from the far side of the football field yelling at the officials. Sometimes opposing defenses can imitate the snap count. And I'm not saying that's what Northern Colorado was doing, but I don't know why else the Bison would be moving.
1st and 15 from the 38.
Hey, if you can get them to move, good for you.
Bears show blitz. Instead, they'll rush 4. Johnson wants to go deep. Easton covers Strelo. Incomplete. It looks like Strelo had it until he landed on the ground and it knocked out. Nice toss by Johnson, but it couldn't be pulled in by Strelo, the senior out of Wisconsin.
Strelo is so sneaky fast. He glides, and at the last minute, he'll run under the football, able to get by Nolan Easton here, but not by much. Pretty good coverage by that Colorado cornerback. And you can see that Strelo does get his hands on the ball, diving for it, and it comes out just at the end. That'd have been a spectacular catch had he made it.
Well, he's been known to make a couple.
Yeah.
That's the same end zone where Tim Strelo scored twice 2 years ago. 35 seconds to go, 3rd quarter on a 2nd down and long. Johnson back to the air. Timing pattern incomplete, thrown a little bit too far towards the sideline. And that was intended for Nelson. Easton on the coverage once again.
I think that almost one play was called to set up the other one. First it was the go by Strelo. This one looked like the go, and Nelson broke it off and turned outside, but the ball is thrown too far to the outside of the field. And again, the Bison face one of those 3rd down and longs on this drive. Eventually, facing 3rd and long is going to catch up with it.
Fans again on their feet here at Nottingham. A lot of noise on 3rd and 15. Semchenko the snap. Johnson again with time. Kurt Kaiser now coming in, putting pressure on. Johnson heaves it to the end zone. Caught, touchdown! Tim Strelo on a 3rd and 15, 38 yards, and it's 35-26.
Ryan Johnson able to buy time here, get out of the hands of one of the Bear defenders. Jashawn Perkins going to the far side of the football field was wide open. He's waving his hands over there. Johnson doesn't find him. See Strelo streaking, and look at where Johnson puts this ball, right in the corner of the end zone, and only Strelo can get to it.
And trailing 35-26, NDSU is going to go for 2 here. Gordon, the lone setback behind Johnson. 19 seconds left to go, 3rd quarter. A heck of a football game. Johnson gonna pass. And this one is tipped at the line of scrimmage, it looked like, and it was incomplete. Intended for Strelo in the back of the end zone. So the 2-point try, no good. And it's 35-26, but 13 straight points scored by North Dakota State.
And I don't know if Kaiser got his hand on it, but he definitely made him change the way he was going to throw the ball.
They had their hands up, and he had to throw it high, and he threw it right over Tim Strelo. He was open momentarily, but there was not execution there for North Dakota State.
Wow, is this good? Is this game good enough for everybody here?
Well, I hope so. But now, because of the missed 2-point conversion, it's still a 2-possession game for North Dakota State. They can't get a touchdown and a 3-point conversion.
And an eerie silence came over Nottingham Field as Strelo caught that touchdown pass.
Peterson will kick off into the wind for what should be the last time in this game, as the teams will switch sides here. And the sophomore going to pooch it again. Bears should call a fair catch here. They don't, though. Zimmerman at about the 26 rumbles forward near the 40. Zim loves to get his hands on that football. He's one of the linebackers who is kind of that secondary kickoff return guy, and anytime you see a loose ball, Zim's going to be out there fighting for it.
Well, him and Bill Ehrenberg met head on that one.
And guess who won? Ehrenberg went back a yard or so. But the pooch kick into the wind, allowing Northern Colorado to have some great field position here.
How about that drive, fellas? 10 plays, 78 yards, and 444. And that's the second straight score for NDSU.
Battling penalties the whole way down the field.
And third and long situations. 3rd and 16 twice, 3rd and 15 once.
McGuffey from the 41 will play fake, being chased. Man gets blocked, and Cord is just going to run it wisely himself and slides feet first near the 50-yard line as time runs out here in the third quarter. And we will switch sides. 35-26 after 3. A great game here in Greeley.
A good book is like food for the soul. The Book Stop is an independent bookstore for independent minds where you'll find unusual authors.
And all the elements for a ending of a terrific football game here at Nottingham Field. 35-26. Number 4 Northern Colorado leads number 11 North Dakota State. We are just underway in the fourth quarter. 2nd down and 3 for the Bears after the McGuffey scramble. UNC led 35-13 at one time. That's been cut. Bears now run the shovel pass. Daniels gets a block, has some room, and has the first down. Simmers makes the stop. But Wes Daniels out to the 45-yard line, gains 7 yards.
I think every offense in the country has put the shovel pass in their arsenal. It's so sneaky, so tricky, and 9 times out of 10 really, really works.
And the safety of that is, of course, if the ball is dropped, it's an incomplete pass instead of a fumble.
Daniels does the work, and McGuffey gets credit for the yardage and a pass.
A UNC player has been kind of quiet today, Keith Grable. Haven't seen a whole lot of him. Bears will stay conservative and hand off to Ciccarelli, and Mark gets strung out, pushed to the outside, and doesn't gain anything. Krenz with good penetration initially before the rest of his teammates came to clean up.
Well, Joe really feels that when they get their fullback involved with their offense, then everything else kind of comes secondary, and didn't get much on that one.
You would think that with the Bears scoring 35 that Grable certainly would have a touchdown in there, because he's kind of a touchdown machine.
In fact, Grable is kind of the counterpart to Tim Strelo. Is Strelo the all-time touchdown receiver for NDSU? Grable is tied for that spot with Cedric Tillman, the former standout UNC receiver. 2nd down and 10. Daniels the lone setback, and they'll play action to him. McGuffey with time. There's Grable. He's open, past his man, and steps out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. Courtney Samuel on the coverage. And just as we talk about him, Grable makes a big catch.
Well, the guy should be in TV. He knows how to take a cue.
And obviously, he and McGuffey are on the same page. McGuffey sidestepping some minor pressure, and Grable came from the far side of the football field, ran all the way across the field. Courtney Samuel couldn't keep up with him.
Similar to the play that NDSU just scored on with Tim Strelo cutting across the field.
10 touchdowns on the season for Grable. 1st and goal from the 3. Daniels up the middle, met head on and stopped. And it was Luke Hendrickson, the big nose guard, who made the tackle there. It looked like West had a lane, but he met Hendrickson head on and said,
Well, that lane was quickly filled by a semi.
Two of the highest scoring teams in the league, certainly letting everybody know that the stats don't lie. They can light it up.
Second and goal. That was only a 1-yard gain, so it's second and goal from the 2. Daniels again. Penetration. Is he in? Yes. The line judge signals it. Touchdown UNC. Third touchdown of the day for Wes Daniels. And the Bears now leading 41-26. And how big was that drive for UNC, stopping some of that Bison momentum?
Oh, it's huge, and the offensive line doing another good job. And Wes Daniels pushing his way in. And Dana, at the beginning that we talked about the predictions that were in the newspaper, nobody predicted this one.
Nobody thought Northern Colorado would score 41 or we'd have so many points scored in this football game. But Daniels, you know, he's got that innate ability to find just that smallest crack and able to sneak in there for the touchdown.
Shower for the point after. Snap is bad, and that one is blocked. Don't know who got a hand on it, but the snap was botched, and the Bison celebrate the block. So it is a 15-point game. So really, still a 2-score game, although the last it was an 11-point game. The last time we talked about it, and a 2-score game rather, and now this is 41-26. So still a couple of Bison scores, and they're back into this thing.
But now instead of needing two-point conversions to tie the game after touchdowns, the Bison need just 1.
But more than making a difference on the scoreboard, I think the difference comes in momentum and knowing that you have to get those scores a little bit faster than maybe you thought you'd want them.
And there's a look at the NDSU defense. They getting a talking to there. They
Donovan Larson, their defensive line coach.
They need to bear down and make some stops here.
This is something that NDSU is not used to in the 99 season. If this was 98, yeah, it wouldn't surprise you much because the defense gave up a lot of yards and a lot of points. But this year, they have been so good.
And the numbers there, certainly UNC over 300 yards today with 41 points on the board. Shower now kicking off into the wind. And it's Nelson and Strelo, a little miscommunication there. Strelo finally picks it up, and he's still on his feet and has a good return considering the circumstances out across the 25-yard line. Wow, that could have been disaster for the Bison.
Miscommunication, they weren't communicating, and the ball fell right between them. But luckily, it took a bounce and came right back over the top, and Strelo was able to pick it up. And how many times do you see this when they fumble a snap or they fumble the kickoff, the coverage team relaxes or something, and you're able to get a decent return out of it.
Just a great bounce to get that back into his hands.
So Johnson again. Got to think he's going to have to stick to the air here, trailing by 15, although he does hand it Gordon here, and Gordon's got some room on the draw. Met right at the 45, but a good pickup of 17 yards before Martin Jones makes the tackle. Well, thought they were going to go to the air. Instead, Lamar Gordon covered a lot of ground on that play.
You know, what a rock-solid tackle by Martin Jones. Tracking down Lamar Gordon in the open field is not the easiest thing to do, but this is about as textbook a tackle as you will find. Cuts back here. Jones just sticks his helmet and shoulder pads right there into the midsection and brings him down easily. Then helps him up and pats him on the backside, too. And Gordon had to come out of the game, too. Perkins is back in.
Still a lot of time, 12:20 and counting. Fourth quarter, Bears up 41-26 in a shootout today. Johnson, play fake, wants to go deep. His man has a step, but overshoots Strelo. Incomplete. He had beaten Kevin Corson, but that pass was too far, and it faded to the right side on Tim Strelo.
And Corson was definitely beat on that one. Strelo had 2 or 3 steps on him.
Seeing that open man, boy, you just must be thinking, don't underthrow it. What happens? He overthrows it just a shade.
Well, it's hard to track down where the wind is coming from. It seems to be swirling a little bit kind of across the field, but I would say most of the game it's been from south to north, which means behind the backs of North Dakota State in this quarter.
And you know, when you're down 41-26, you don't want those opportunities like a man getting behind the secondary to go by.
Play fake, Johnson again, has some time, flag is down, and he hits Detman, who scampers out of bounds at the 43. We'll wait and see what that flag is. It's on the far sideline.
On the far sideline and kind of in the secondary.
Right.
Or normally like a hold or on a defensive player would happen.
And it is a hold against the Bears.
Holding UNC.
Quality time here for Johnson. Able to set back and allow Detman to come across on that crossing route and get wide open. That's a tough play for a linebacker to cover a wide receiver. There's the touchdown, man.
6 plays, 59 yards, and 2:15 off the clock.
And Daniels has the hat trick on the ground. McGuffey has thrown 3 in the air. Bison declined the penalties. 1st and 10 now, and again Johnson back in the pocket with plenty of time. Up for Nelson, incomplete, had it in his hands and couldn't hang on. Easton was there late, and I don't know if Nolan got a hand on it or not. It looked like Eric Nelson had it, though.
I think Easton came in and stripped and hit him just as the ball get there. That's a great play by Nolan Easton. Coaches will say that's just a player making a play.
It looked like the ball, when Nelson caught it, went to his backside or his left hand, and Nolan Easton came around the backside with his other hand. It's just a great play.
It might have just gone through his hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's give Easton some credit, too.
Yeah, Nolan's not usually the first guy you think of when you're thinking covered corner for UNC, more of a physical guy, but he's made a couple of nice plays today.
He's played well today.
2nd and 10. There goes Johnson again in the pocket. He's got all day, but overshoots his target, Nelson, who gets popped by Nathan Rice, a reserve cornerback. Nelson a little bit slow to get up, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
He'd rather hop right up and not let that defensive back know that he hurt you a little bit.
Yeah. But Rice had an opportunity to put him in his sights and take a shot at him.
Still, if Ryan Johnson has made mistakes today, some of his balls have been just a little high. Nelson was open, misses him high again.
3rd and 10. Crowd of nearly 7,000 at Nottingham Field on its feet. Pressure coming in. Zimmerman gets Johnson and sacks him back at the 50-yard line.
Zimmerman made sure that he didn't miss him this time.
UNC player is down. I was going to say Simchenko looked to the sideline and had his hands held out. I'm not sure if he was expecting that one.
It looked like there was a little confusion up front by North Dakota State, especially after the play. As a lineman and fullback, Jeremy Luer, looked to the bench with their arms up.
Matt Markley is the player coming off hobbled.
And there's Strelo, it looks like, on the far sideline.
He's down on the near sideline here, down on the...
Check that, you're right. That is the near sideline. That's the UNC sideline on the west side of Nottingham Field. And the officials with a timeout on the field will take one as well. Bears on top, 41-26.
When preparation meets opportunity, that's not luck, it's leadership. Hi, I'm Joe Glenn, head football coach at the University of Northern Colorado and spokesman for First Choice Bank. Leaders capitalize on opportunity. Lots of teams compete, but only one brings home the trophy. For leadership and community banking, First Choice Bank is #1. So bank with a winner, First Choice Bank.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Isn't it about time you had Dandelion Moving and Storage instead of 2 buddies and a pickup? Call on the professionals from Dandelion Moving and Storage. They're experts in moves from across town to across the country. Professionals from Dandelion use the utmost care when moving your belongings. Ask for a local reference list and call on Dandelion Moving and Storage for your next move. Locally grown and picked by all your neighbors.
Where heroes hide.
At 98 years young, Leota has spent over 60 years teaching school and piano and volunteering her energy to help others. Now she's enjoying stimulating activities with her friends at Elder Garden. Thanks to your United Way contribution, services are available to one of Weld County's finest heroes. Do the right thing. Give to the United Way of Weld County.
Peterson to punt on 4th and 19. Is there a fake in the plan here? No. Peterson instead is going to pooch it out left sideline. Good kick. Angles out near the 20-yard line. We'll have to see where the officials spot it. Well, they keep walking and actually walk out across the 20, so not as good a kick as originally thought. And the Bears will take over after a big defensive stop. Bison looked to punch it in the end zone again, had a couple of chances deep, a long bomb for Strelo that was overthrown, and then Nelson couldn't hang on to one inside the 5, and Zimmerman with a big sack on 3rd down.
Now the onus is on this Bison defense. They have not proven today that they can handle that man, Court McGuffey, and the Bear offense, and they need to get a stop here.
11:25 left to go in the 4th. Daniels shakes out of some traffic, and he's got room across the 40-yard line. Wes Daniels enjoying his best day of the season by far.
And right at the beginning of that play, you knew something good was going to happen because the offensive line had the push, had the advantage on the North Dakota State defense right off the bat.
Little trap, little pull there by one of the linemen, and look at Daniels. Not the biggest guy. He can kind of hide behind those linemen. All of a sudden something opens, and boom, he can sneak right through there. And when your free safety makes a stop, that's not a good sign.
Well, this is a performance from Daniels that I'm sure UNC's been looking for all season long, not just to put pressure on him. He's been a little bit banged up, but he came into this season as the #1 running back and really hadn't done anything to claim that job as his. Today, his best game, hands down. And there's Daniels again in the open, spin move near the 40-yard line of North Dakota State. Well, and right now, that Bison defense just back on his heels, wondering what's going on here.
And again, just taking advantage of what this young offensive line is giving him. The initial hole was created by the offensive line, and then the spin move and the speed of Daniels turns it into a bigger gain.
Yeah, I agree. The Bison defense right now is reeling a little bit. We can always go back to the keys to the game and what Coach Babbage talked about. High on the priority list was stopping the run, and they're not doing it, not even on this series.
Another 1st down, 2 Wes Daniels runs, 2 first downs. And here's Daniels again and again, good yardage near the 35-yard line. That's about 6 more on the play. And now the Bison sending in some fresh troops here as the defense looks tired. And the Bears set up on a 2nd down and short.
They've been on the field a lot today, and I think that Bear offensive line has really pounded them, and it is now taking its toll here as we are inside the 10-minute mark for the football game.
There's the game situation, 9:50 and counting, 41-26, Northern Colorado on top. Bears have never trailed in this crucial NCC game. Grable in motion, far side. Handoff goes to Daniels, cuts it up behind Ciccarelli, and West is out near the 30-yard line. That looks to be another 1st down.
Now, all you want to do if you're a Bear fan is move the chains. Keep it on the ground, work the clock, keep that Bison defense on the field. And Daniels is going to earn some good rest here. Ciccarelli through the hole, leading the way. And it's actually Luke Hendrickson from his nose guard position tracking down Daniels from behind.
And Hendrickson a little bit slow to get up. He'll be escorted to the sideline. Looks like he's going to be okay. But another 1st down for Northern Colorado.
And Daniels coming off the field as well, a little winded.